I was trying to think of what would be the most influential thing to do. And I was thinking about the biggest problems in the world, and of course the number one thing that came to mind was world hunger. And I thought about how that could be solved. And the fact is that there's enough food in the world to feed every individual. And the reason why there is world hunger and poverty is because it's a social setting to have food and to produce it. And if you don't have the money to buy it, you don't get it. So one of the biggest problems is that you need something that can grow easily in any kind of terrain. So I began to research what kinds of seeds were the best to grow in any kind of terrain. And the ones I came across were pumpkin seeds, soybeans, nuts, peanuts, stuff like that. And then I began to decide which ones I could actually combine, because I was looking at the nutritional properties of all of them and trying to make one food that could technically support a population, but at the same time would have enough calorie content and nutritional value to have someone live and be healthy like they are here. And so I had to look at monocots versus dicots, and so that was one of the biggest things that, biggest challenges I faced, because a lot of the foods that I wanted to combine, I couldn't, because they had different structures, they had different growing patterns. And so I decided on dicots because monocots had more fruit, and I thought that vegetables and grain was more beneficial. And so then the second thing that I had to look at was I had to have enough proteins to make a complete amino acid. And so some combinations that would give you that is like rice and beans, rice and corn, corn and beans. The problem is that corn's a monocot, and rice is just a really complicated thing to work with. The problem was that the pumpkin seed wasn't germinating at all, so I decided that that wouldn't be a good fit. And I also need something that would germinate fast and it would grow at somewhat high rate, because I was starting it in midwinter. And so I had them inside, and so all of them that grew were the soybeans, radish, spinach, and sunflower. And so then what I did was I cut off the heads of all of them and I slit the stems down the middle. And then I replaced and mismatched the heads with the bodies, if that makes any sense. And I used grafting tape and I wrapped it around. And eventually over time they grew together. So then the product that was produced could theoretically be both of nutritional properties being mixed together. Of course, this would take many different trials to actually get a perfect one that would be half and half, and I probably should have started the grafting process earlier. But for time's sake, I just did it like that. And even though it's not a perfect experiment and I haven't combined all of them together to make one, it definitely is an advantage.